This is Clem Fandango. Can you hear me?
No!
Can you hear me, Stephen?
I'm Batman.
I know you are. Hello, gentlefolk. How are you today? Hello, Matt.
I'm good.
Pott.
Hey. Yeah, I know who you're talking to because I'm the only Matt here.
Metaphorically, yes.
I have exclusive rights. That's what I said. That's what I said to Matt. I said he can be known as Matt 1, I can be known as Matt 2. We're all
We
good.
know you've got exclusive rights. We know. Tell us something we don't know. Anyway, moving on.
I'm straight.
He once cosplayed as all the actors of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert at the same time.
Swappers.
Hey, no, I played ping pong.
Ding dong, more like.
Have you remember that scene in Priscilla? What do they call her? Ping pong?
Oh, yeah.
When they actually did the stage show, they actually did that scene, and all the ping pongs went into the audience.
Oh, no. Oh,
Priscilla.
Yeah, that was a stage show.
Oh, please educate me. I'm stupid.
Yeah, they had a stage show of Priscilla. They've also had like other Australian movies made into, except Mad Max. They need to make Mad Max into
A musical.
theatre experience. Yeah,
Mad Max, the musical.
My sister just went and saw Harry Potter.
Right, moving on. Hello, Swap Shop. You all right? You all right?
Oh, yes, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Just my head's fried. My body's aching from doing maths revision and also housework and DIY. But apart from that, yeah, all right.
Are you you're studying still, yes?
I am indeed, mate. I've got an exam on the 27th of May.
Ooh, mathematics.
It is.
Wow.
I am not looking forward to it.
Did you not pass maths at school, or were you like me, a bit stupid with it?
Bit stupid with it. I only got a level D when I should have got a C or above to pass. So, yeah, I've got to get that extra grade.
I take it you need it for something.
For qualification for potential employment.
Even though you're well, I won't mention your age, even though you've got a lifetime of experience.
In what?
In life.
Yeah, even though it doesn't matter, you got to have that. You got to have that certificate that says I can do sums on it.
Oh, okay. What job are you going for?
Teaching.
Hence why you need it. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Teaching any particular subject?
No, it'll probably be junior school kids. So it's like you kind of need to be spread across all subjects. You don't really specialise.
Is it only the mathematics that you're falling short on at the moment then?
Yeah, well, I passed all my other ones. It was maths that I didn't pass. So that's the only one that I really need to brush up on. But there's a lot of people I know that are going for a teaching qualification and they need to do like 3 or 4 GCSEs. I'm thinking, geez, I've got off lightly then in that case.
So you're a very talented bloke. There's no kind of artistry in the offing then?
What you mean in current projects or anything like that?
Well, kind of doing it full time, or.
Well, I mean, I'd have to. If I was going to do it full time, it'd have to be freelance. And if it was freelance, you've got the situation of trying to establish a client base, and that takes ages.
I know.
Yeah, so it's kind of choosing the most lucrative avenue that takes the shortest amount of time, if you know what I mean.
I will say for the folks watching this on repeat, you should check out Swap Shop's work. There is some on Doomcock on his Zazzle. Some of the stuff he's done is just absolutely top draw. Some of his T-shirts he's done are, top draw. Matt Pott. You know about T-shirts, don't you?
I'm sorry, I thought you talked about Razzle then.
Razzle's a porno mag from back in the day in the UK.
Yes.
A quality publication, may I say?
I know. It was very popular here as well.
That
wonder
doesn't
if
surprise me.
Nowadays, they just go straight for the internet. Yeah. So sorry. Yes. I don't use Razzle. I use
Other porno mags are available, by the way.
no. I use Redbubble. Redbubble's my go-to for anything productive. So I can make cups and all that sort of stuff.
Oh,
as
we're
well.
not. Oh, sorry, we're not talking about pornography here.
Cups, D cups. Okay. Yeah.
Very
So
good.
you can make cups, cushions. I like double Ds. I've had J's in my life. They've been great. So
Yeah.
Wow.
anyway,
Double F ones,
so-
they were pretty good.
I haven't gone that low. So anyway, yeah. So they have like you can make bedspreads and all that sort of stuff with just the one image, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything with those guys.
Sorry, what's the name of the site again?
Redbubble.
Red Bubble. Right. Okay.
Yeah, and pretty much you just put a PDF up of your image. It has to be yours. I did a picture of Walt Disney once with his head in an ice cube.
Okay. Which is
Because one of my friends wanted it, so I did it. Because they said, "Oh, is it true about Walt Disney's head being decapitated?"
in a head.
And I
It's in a
said,
jar.
and I said, "Yeah." I said it's in an ice cube. So I actually drew them a picture and sent it to them, and they said, "Oh, you should put that on a shirt." So I did, and then they got me for copyright because they reckoned that I was copywriting. And I said, "But it's a person. It's not an actual it's not a corporation, But anyway, they didn't. Like I was saying to you the other day, Mr. Brown,
MC's in the house.
it was the fact that they had to people ask for particular designs, and they're not giving them to them. The companies aren't giving them the designs that they want. They're giving them what they want to give them. And
Yes.
so, it's rather than, say, "Hey, we really like this design. We'll buy it off you, for a certain amount, or we'll give you a certain percentage." Which is what a lot of Japanese corporations do. That they actually say, "Hey, would you like to buy it all outright? Would you like us to pay for it outright, or would you like to make an amount off the profits, of any merchandise?" And so that's what they do. But in America, it's like, "No, we're going to sue you."
Yeah, there seems to be more talented people out there than their actual in-house designers, which
Yeah, because a lot of them are cocksuckers.
you heard it first,
are.
ladies and peeps.
They are. A lot of them are real Nancy boys. Like, really, they'll do anything for a crust, Whereas me, my artistic integrity is intact. I'll never ever change my artistic thought at all, to suit them. If I get asked to draw a cuddly little bear, I'll do that.
Like a
I've got
koala.
no problems with that. Yeah. And so, I've done I've had to go and work on things like, Katy Perry and shit like that,
Well,
and
I'd love to work on Katy Perry. So well done.
well, yeah, a lot of the time you just, you do job for the money sort of thing. But when it's the fact that they go, right, if they had offered me Thundercats Raw, I don't know
Okay.
if you were aware of this one. Thundercats Raw is an absolutely diabolical cartoon,
I thought
that
it was. I thought it was a porn parody of Thundercats with no clothes on.
Thundercats Ho, that is. So anyway, yeah. So if they'd offered me that, I would have gone. You know what? I don't want my name attached to this. I don't. So you get your little students from your Cal Arts places, and you get them to do it. And of course,
listen, no disrespect to students. We've all got to start somewhere.
No, Cal Arts students. I said Cal Arts students. I didn't say students.
Are they bad?
Well, they have a style. Let's just say that Cal Arts seem to come out with a style, and that's the reason why you get shows like, let's see, you get things like, what's the name of them? Gravity Falls.
Gravity Falls. We're not talking about big boobs here, are we?
Thundercats. No. Thundercats, Raw. You get
Steven Universe.
Teen Titans. Yeah, exactly. That's them. Yep.
Are you sure you're not talking about
wavelength.
Teen Titans?
No, Teen Titans Go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, and Star Trek Lower Decks as well.
Which is that one? Sorry.
Star Trek Lower Decks.
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes. But they creeped it in with Simpsons too. Simpsons very much like that now too.
Yeah,
they've got to the point now where they're actually dictating what goes in there. Did you hear that they actually revoiced another Hank Azaria character?
Who's that?
Yes, apparently it is now going to be another character, not Apu. They got rid of Apu. Apu's been retired. But they. I don't
the program itself.
I haven't watched it. It's a recent character that they've had for a little while, and yeah, I couldn't tell you who it is. Oh, I think he's a gay guy. They actually got a gay guy to play the gay guy.
Oh no! Oh God.
Yep, and also apparently they have replaced. Remember, Barney had a black drinking partner.
Carl.
No, that was. Oh no! Wait, there's two, isn't there? There's Carl and there's Lenny, and they're both.
Carl was the black one.
Yeah,
they're both mates
the
at home,
skinny one.
Yeah, they're both mates at home.
Carl's been replaced.
You got the black cop, black police officer as well, haven't you?
Yeah, Carl's been replaced. And so has I think it's what was his name? What's the sidekick of Mr. Burns?
Oh,
Mr. Smithers.
Yeah, it's Smithers' boyfriend.
Will Kodos and Kang, the aliens, will they be voiced by aliens? You know what? You know, on the Halloween specials, you know, the green with the helmets.
What I want to know is, Bart Simpson's voiced by a middle-aged woman. How are they going to handle that?
Julio is the name of the character in The Simpsons, by the way. That was Hank Azaria's character. And now he's been replaced because he's gay. And they want a gay person to play him. And he's also Cuban, so they had to get a Cuban gay person to play him.
Oh, my God. Gee.
Yep.
And this is to keep about 5 people happy.
This is the kind of shit that The Simpsons used to be against. This is stuff they used to parody and ridicule in society. Now they've become it. You know, this is how bad it's got now.
The only show that I've ever seen them take Simpsons to task is the South Park.
But isn't Simpsons is owned by Disney, is it not?
It is now.
Yeah.
Because it's Fox.
Yeah, that probably explains it.
Basically, everything is owned by Disney nowadays.
So,
just basically lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah, I what's this about Gina Carano being cancelled? What's that? Is she get back on Star Wars or what? Or is it a load of bullshit YouTubers?
I will say on 15 minutes, hail Doomcock. Lots of kind of new Doomcock stuff. KK's been given the hard word, apparently. And I can see Jon Favreau starting to come to the fore now. If she's
You know
on her
what? I
way
reckon
out,
I reckon that he'd come into a board meeting and she'd just wave cowboys and aliens at his face and go, "You have flops too."
that wasn't very good, was it?
No, it's still a lot better than the Disney trilogy, that's for sure.
Harrison Ford was great in it as usual, but he did it for the paycheck. You could tell.
I was going to say Harrison Paycheck.
Thing is, I don't think Gina Carano's uncancelled. I think they've just decided to syndicate an episode of the Bear Grylls show that she was in.
Yeah, that's coming back. Yeah, it was cancelled for a while, wasn't it? And then it's coming back.
Yeah,
I
I
did
think
see a clip
Bear
of
Grylls
that,
himself
yeah.
might have something to do with it. I don't know.
It's just very, very petty, very, very low. Getting rid of a program somebody had already, not transmitting a program somebody already had recorded. It's very spiteful.
Well, they did that
very
once
spiteful.
before. They did that once before, but it was Steve Irwin. So
It's not.
they couldn't really show it on TV.
I've said before, personally, I don't think we're going to see the Mandalorian again.
Yeah, I've thought that as well.
I just don't think we're going to see it again.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
So
I'm actually really good with that. I kind of, I really
viewers.
like Gina Carano. I really like Gina.
Sorry, Matt. If Gina comes back, I kind of think we'll see the Mandalorian again. But it's a long shot.
did you see that what's his name? James Gunn. Did you see him? He has so bent the knee. He has gotten stuck into people that don't like woke stuff and all this, and I'm like, you are such a fucking crawler.
Yeah, he is now because they reinstated his employment. So
yeah, that's exactly right. So now he's
super
like,
grateful now. Yeah,
you're a whinger and all this sort of thing, and it's like, because this guy was whinging about they got rid of some guy called Sam on the Jungle Cruise, and it had been like, it was a tradition. He was like a salesman or whatever on this Jungle Cruise, and of course he was of an ethnicity. And they got stuck into him because it was like, his name, the guy's name was Sam, so therefore they had to remove him.
Didn't James Gunn back in the day do some very, very dubious tweets?
That's in the past now.
But they were kind of really. I'm not going to say what they were, but they were really near the knuckle, weren't they?
That's all in the past now. That's all forgotten about. They don't need to worry about that sort of stuff anymore.
Is that because it's convenient to forget?
He's like, look over here. Look, I've got Suicide Squad coming out soon. It looks shit. It looks shit, It does. It looks awful. That fucking thing looks awful.
I wasn't impressed, really.
I never watched the first one, to be fair.
I watched the first one, but he wasn't involved in that, so I didn't mind it. But this one, I'm not going to go anywhere near it. No interest in it whatsoever. And then I was really surprised Harley Quinn was back in it. I was like, oh, if she dies in it, maybe that's all right. But, I'm just so over Harley Quinn. It's not funny.
Did you see, what was the Harley Quinn film? Did you see that?
No, I avoided that one. Birds of Prey.
Well, Bob, that turned out tank, didn't it?
Did you avoid that like the clap?
There is a fantastic animated show called Birds of Prey that was done for about 10 years ago, and it was a musical. And these three girls, there was Black Canary, I think Huntress, and another one, and it was like a musical. But it was so well done and so good. And if they'd have done that, it would have been fantastic. But no, they went for the whole fucking woke shit. And then I even said to Paul Dini, who actually created Harley Quinn, because he was, plugging it non-stop when it first came out, Birds of Prey. And when it came out, and he said, oh, there's this clip of Harley Quinn with her hyena. And I said, oh, which hyena is that, Bud or Lou?
She's having a laugh, isn't she?
Well, that's what I said. I said, oh, they're naming them after Buttonloo was named after Abbott and Costello, you know. So, and then he turned around to me and he said, "Oh, they could only afford one, and it's neither." And I'm like, "But that's not part of the, it's part of frigging comic heritage that they have two hyenas, and they're both called Bud and Lou. It's part of the bloody, that's the part of the charm, you know." But no, but he's one of the ones that he likes to keep his nose to the ground, sort of thing, and just yes. I think he was really surprised it flopped, actually. But they were saying, "Oh, people don't know how great it is and everything," and it was like that was a really bad movie, apparently.
Swappers, can you see the comment from Krual Birab? Hello,
yes,
Krual.
I can. Yeah, I know. I don't know which is worse either, to be honest.
I think I'd probably think woke stuff because it seems to be lasting a lot longer than a maths exam.
Yeah, although maths exams seem to be bloody permanent in society, don't they? Unfortunately.
Hey, Cruel. Hey, AMC.
Are you going to pass it first time? Yes.
God knows. I've failed it twice before. I seem to understand it better this time round, so there's that. But there's still I still go back through things and go, "Oh, shit, I forgot all about that. Oh, and that. Oh no." So I've got to go back and just reread loads of stuff and do loads more exercises and things like that between now and the exam date. It's like,
Krual says maths is my kryptonite.
Same here.
Yeah. At school I was okay with maths, and then I had one bad exam result, and then they threw me in the bottom class, and then that was it.
I was always in the bottom class. I was always in the special kids. I was always put in the special kids class because they were like, "You're a fucking dunce," It's like, well, fair enough, all right. But I got put in with all the bullies and everything, so that was fantastic. But that didn't want to learn either. And so yeah, that I don't think they do that anymore, do they? They don't have special classes, do they? They just go, "Oh, that's okay. You'll just grow out of it. It'll be fine." Maybe you want to be a girl
never
someday.
grow out of it.
Maybe you want to be a girl someday, or have a trans life.
Mr. Pott, please, language like that. We don't do stuff like that in Blighty. You may do it in. You may talk like that in Australia, but please.
Well,
we're more civilized.
Are we technically in Blighty? Because
you're
as far
not.
as I'm aware, yeah, but as technically, is this not internet? Not on. This is where are the servers situated?
Oh, don't you get technical with me, young man.
I reckon they're in Spain, to be honest, but there you go.
I love Spain.
Yeah, why is it so holiday? Like, why do people always go there for a holiday? What do you call them, vacations there?
Holiday. I just think maybe because the distance involved travelling is good. And probably over the years, the Spanish and English and British, I think they just kind of get on. I like Spanish people. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just the convenience of the travelling distance is a couple of hours to go somewhere that's. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you have a problem with Spanish immigration? Like, do you have a lot of illegal Spanish immigrants, or are they from another area?
No, because up until Brexit happened, there was free movement of labour.
Right.
So we didn't have a problem with that.
But you do now?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay.
Traditionally it was always people from outside the EU, wasn't it? Swap Shop.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. Yeah.
The poor, desperate people from the Eastern Mediterranean mainly, Libya and stuff like that.
We have a lot of people from Malaysia and that. We call them boat people, and they just get on a boat and, sail, literally a rowboat, and they sail to, sometimes they actually don't even, the boats don't even, they're not even floatable. the boats. They're just atrocious.
Technically, we have boat people as well, because that was they go to the immigration camps in France, Calais, that type of area, and these poor people in their hour of desperation are put on boats and sent across the channel, and it's not good. Cruel in the chat. I did not know. Did you hear about Alex Belfield? Think he's been suspended from YouTube. Oh.
Okay, who's that?
Is the voice of reason? Is an ex-BBC.
Oh yes, I think I know who you're talking about now.
He's.
I did like some of his stuff I was seeing.
Yeah, he's quite funny actually. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So
I wonder if Carol Vorderman's put a complaint in against him, because he did a scathing video the other day about Carol Vorderman, and there you go.
Yeah, that's him. Yep.
Cruel, do you know why he's been suspended?
I thought he was a little bit too. Like he didn't seem like your typical YouTuber, that was regurgitating stuff.
Yeah,
you could tell he was professional.
Yeah,
okay, I understand now. Sorry, that's an English thing.
Yeah. Kral Birab, they come over in dinghies.
But I thought he was very intelligent.
He is. I think he did the warm-up for Countdown as well at some point, hence why he knows Carol Vorderman. I think, he did a video about Carol Vorderman going off on one, saying, you're not allowed to look at certain things of my body, but I'm going to put them out on the Twitter sphere so everybody can see them, but if you look at them, I'm going to get offended. Kind of logic. And I had a dream that night. I think those two would do a great YouTube show together, but that's just me.
Well, his YouTube channel's still up, so does that mean that he just can't post anything, or? Oh, yeah, it does say he's suspended back next week.
Oh, right, okay. I thought if you get suspended, that's you're off.
Well, it's like he's off for the next week, he said.
Cruel coming through for us as per usual. No, it was to do with Chris Whitty's statement about the Kung flu. Considered medical misinformation. So there you go.
Don't you just love it when people are telling you you're wrong?
I get it all the time, yes.
It's nowadays, that's all that happens is like, no, you're totally wrong.
And I'm
right. And it's like, well, you tell me why am I totally wrong? It's like, well, that doesn't matter. I'm right, you're wrong. Yeah, I'm going to expose you, And you're just like, what? And then the next minute you're getting retweeted and you're going, look at this dickhead. This is who who does he think he is? And it's like, why don't you actually fucking talk to me rather than trying to hold me up and put. That's how they used to put the heads up on the spikes, isn't it?
Swap Shop, everything is polarized, isn't it?
Oh, it's good. It's got utterly ridiculous now, hasn't it? Every single day, I don't really watch TV anymore, but
same here.
Every single time I learn anything from TV or even put iPlayer on, for
royalties in, by the way.
If I'm around a relative's house or something, and it's just I get it every single time I look at the TV, and I'm just my face is in my hands, I just can't believe what I'm seeing anymore.
Look who's here, everybody. We have got a political culture.
Is it Commander? Nice one. Way
powerhouse in the wings. Here he comes. I'm gonna 4, 3, 2, 1. Way Stig.
Oh, hey, folks. How's it going?
Well, hello.
Sorry, I'm a little bit late to the party. I heard somebody talk about heads on spikes, and I said, I got to jump onto this. That's my style. But
that'd be me.
Yeah. How are you, sir? Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good this evening. Sorry, I got the late message that you guys were streaming, and I was out walking the dog, so I ran them back, and we're out.
It
We're
was
back.
a very last moment, my friend. It's really great to have you here. Are you well, yes?
I am well. Myself and the missus are doing quite well.
Mrs. Commander doing good, is she?
She is. She's loving life. It's good to be the
Good.
commander's wife. This is a true statement.
It is indeed. Sklavko's in as well. Hello, Sklavko. They're all coming out of the woodwork.
Oh,
hello,
wow.
my friend. So, Commander,
Yeah.
anything to comment on what's been happening kind of in the ether this week? What's been annoying you or, getting your attention this week?
Well,
I think it's been a quiet week, if anything.
It's been fairly quiet this week. The one thing that's held my attention is, and again, I apologize for the Americo-centric nature of my observations, but the Biden administration, so to speak, if you put that in quotation marks, was talking about raising the capital gains taxes. And this, and predictably, this has caused a flight out of stocks. And it's, to me, I'm just ruminating on it. It's utterly stupid because in an environment where the economy is already weak, by virtue of this, lockdown situation, we're going to start adding jet fuel to the fire by, pulling people out of stocks, by increasing the taxes on the wealthiest, which means the people who are able to best avoid the taxes. And then it's going to fall on the middle class, which is the people who pay the paychecks for the working class, and it's just like this is a recipe for a financial catastrophe. And unfortunately, the city of London is less powerful than the city of New York nowadays, and so
It is.
whatever they do is going to, when America sneezes, the world catches cold, so to speak. So that's kind of got me going in circles, thinking about why would they do this if they know that it's gonna fall apart. So yeah, Commander cancel culture is my nemesis. That's right. But that's what Sklavko says. It's a funny thing. But so that's sort of what I've been ruminating about. But how about you guys? What have you heard? I heard you guys were talking about the channel, the illegals coming across the channel on boats, something about that.
Yeah, Matt Pott was just talking about illegals in his country, and I just said because we were talking about Spain and Spanish immigration and stuff, but I said we never had a problem because it was all under the EU. So
the weird thing is, we have New Zealand, which is right next door, right? And we don't get any immigration from them whatsoever. They are happy where they are. People in New Zealand love where they are, and too. I've only been there once in the airport, but that's it. And so but it looks nice. But it looks very much like Australia, and so but we're coming from the Asian countries, mainly in Malaysia, and those sort of poor areas. A lot of the time they try to get on boats to come here straight away, and I mean, it's about, with the kids, so it's just not adults, it's with kids. And, they're on this perilous journey sort of thing rather than trying to go through normal channels. See, get it? Water channels. Very good. Yeah, thank you. They just try to risk it. But the thing is, they know that they won't get asylum. This is the stupid thing. They won't get asylum because, where they end up? They end up on another island. They end up on an island in Papua New Guinea called Christmas Island. And so, therefore, they're not even being, they're nowhere near Australia. But we're paying for them. We're paying for them to stay there, until, they get properly processed. So why they can't get properly processed in their own countries is beyond me,
Well,
as
at
far
least
as I know it,
yeah.
As far as I know it, Australia is a really difficult country to get into, immigration-wise, because you have to pass so many level or standards of a profession and stuff. Yeah, right.
America, you can't even get it. Unless you have a job there that no one else can fill. there is pretty much no hope. And a lot of people that I have known, Australian-wise, that have gone to live in the US, they have married pretty much soon after they got there.
That's the quickest
just
way,
so
yes.
that they can. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not like that anyway. I'm not, I got to love the person that I marry, but that's the reason why I'm single. But it's
What a romantic.
yeah, I know. Here's some flowers. So anyway, yeah, but it's just the fact that this is how people are getting around it, and for us normies that don't want to do that sort of skullduggery.
Never call yourself normal.
I'm normal.
You are far from normal in our eyes.
In my eyes, I'm normal. Aren't you? Aren't you normal? I don't want to hang around.
We're Abby normal.
For certain people, yeah.
Inverted commas.
It's all a matter of
People that wear
isn't it?
dresses and they're actually male.
Well, I think Australia has a leg up, as bad as it may be, on any of our countries. Because at least they say, okay, if you come here, we're going to drop you off in the middle of Papua New Guinea until we figure out what's going on, and that would be fine with me. I mean, if we did the same here.
A fortune. I don't know about you guys, but it costs us a fortune in actually, because we have to pay certain, because these are neutral islands,
Right.
And so we have to pay for the governments, the local governments and that to actually take these people. And so they make money off it as well. But I mean, you can only do so much.
Right. Well, and it may be similar in the UK, but in America, I mean, the cost is way beyond what it would be just sort of a cash settlement with a foreign power, because the children come in, they're immediately put into the public education system, which costs millions. They're put on the medical rolls, which cost millions. They're eligible for welfare benefits, which cost millions. Then there's all this adjudication that has to go on, and in the meantime, they're taking jobs, low-paying jobs that somebody who came here legally, maybe from that same country, is competing for, right? And so then you have basically two people who now need to go on the dole, and it's just a big mess. And I get the sense that something similar is happening in the UK. But
I mean, we have. I know for a fact that certain employers get special compensation if they take on a person from another country that is, currently being, what would you say, being looked at as a potential person to stay in the country. So they actually get money for that. So it just amazes me how much money they just throw at this stuff that doesn't need to be thrown at.
Yeah, it's flushing it down the toilet. And it's because it's things that could otherwise be, put into, your own country and improving infrastructure.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, I know with America and everything. Are you in California, Commander?
I'm from California originally, yes.
Well, you'd know all about all the homeless and that. When I went there, it was just like, there was homeless on every corner,
Mm-hmm.
and also, you have a lot of the people that are mentally, that really should be looked after, and they're on the streets,
Right.
and
Right.
It's here in Australia, we're getting so much the same. We're getting people that are living in underneath building sites and shopping areas and all that sort of thing, just to try and survive. People are living in parks now here, and it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And I'm so mad because
we have a homeless problem here as well. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, my take on it, my simple take is that as long as unemployment is, something other than 0%, there should be an absolute severe, strict quota system on anybody, coming into the country, adding to that potential pool of unemployed people. And obviously, in the meantime, you do that and you're saving money that you can then use to treat people who have psychological issues, of which, as you pointed out, in America, there are a lot of them because the mental institutions were all shut down in the 1980s and 90s. And they just turned them out on the streets. And so, it's a major problem, and it's one that's continually compounded with every passing day that they do not, enact very strict quotas on migration.
See, what gets up my goat is the fact that when we have like huge things like the Olympics, or the Sydney Olympics like we had, or the Commonwealth Games or something like that, where we're going to get a huge influx of tourism, they actually try to hide the homeless in hotels. They literally pay for them to be there for 2 weeks while these things are showing, and then they just end up throwing them back out on the street again. I don't know if that's the same, if they've done that over on in other countries, but it's just ridiculous and it's pathetic.
Matt, could you do me a little favour, please? Your microphone is, I don't know if it's a dodgy connection. Could you drop off the connection and then come back on?
Is that me?
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad. So maybe just reconnect it, yes?
Yes, okay, I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. Yeah, Swap Shop, I haven't heard.
Swap Shop, are you still there?
Yes, it's still here, mate. I thought that was something to do with my connection here. I thought that was why Matt was like crackling in and out. But I know you guys are fine, so it must be him.
Yeah, it's him. It's him. So, Commander, getting back to Biden.
Okay.
Is it me or is he? I don't know. I just don't think something's right. I don't know.
You're not alone.
As a president, I am not feeling it.
No. Well, I mean, that's why I call him President-elect Biden, because he's, at the very best, he's a meat puppet for much more powered interests, and then you can go from there. You guys probably all saw the video footage of him being interviewed in a green screen thing where his hand keeps floating over the microphones, even though he's supposedly outside. There's a lot of really weird, dodgy things.
Yeah, that was bizarre. Was that ever resolved?
It never resolved. No, it was just if you had a question about it, then you were a conspiracy theorist and a psycho and probably a Nazi or something, or one of those people from Germany. But and stuff like that, where they'll have press conferences live on the White House lawn, and there will be people videotaping the White House lawn from local hotels, and there's nobody sitting on the lawn. Live, and this has happened multiple times. It's extremely bizarre. And, and like you said, I mean, even without this sort of like goofy stuff going on the periphery, there's a certain gravitas that comes with being the president of the United States.
Yes.
And none of that, like you say, none of that exists. I mean, at the very best, what it seems like is that there's a plutocratic consensus going on behind the screen that they sort of push out to, the people running Biden, and that's sort of what's going on. And it's very much a Mark Step sort of a thing that's just following the playbook of, whatever, the radical agenda that they've been pushing the last couple of years.
Cruel Birab says, watch John talks. He does funny gaffs all about it. It's funny. Lol. Sky News Australia they've done quite a few videos about Biden's. They kind of say it's old age, and he just kind of rambles on and just goes off on one and says.
Well, there's that too. Yeah, he's senile. He's. Back in the old Soviet days, Andropov had his marbles together more than Joe Biden does. and and he didn't last too long. And it's the same sort of dynamic. That's once I get back up and live, that's something I want to jump into on my own videos, is talking about the gerontocracy, of sort of this clinging ruling class of old hippies, if you will, or boomers, or whatever you want to call them, that just sort of maintains power because they were part of the revolution, in the early 60s. And they're not giving up economic power. They're not giving up political power. They don't have any new ideas. They don't understand the situation that they find themselves in, economically, politically, socially. And because of that, the whole system that they stand on starts to collapse. This is what happened with the Soviet Union in 1989, 1990. And it's very likely to happen here. The only difference is, that for all of their evil, the leaders of the Soviet Union were at least human enough not to try to maintain their power by sparking a war or by cracking down violently, like the communists in China did at the same time. But I think that I'm very concerned because of all the war drums that I hear coming from, Joe Biden's mouth and whoever is running him behind the scenes. They seem to be, what's the phrase? Like a hammer looking for a nail, right? It's like, are we going to get into it in the South China Sea? Are we going to get into it in Ukraine? Are we going to be able to spark something in Iran? And it's like, they don't understand the ramifications of a, medium scale to large scale war, because that's not even, the ramifications aren't even part of their calculus, which is a scary thought.
I think we mentioned very early on when he got in that we're going to be looking at war very, very soon.
I'd be shocked if we don't see it. And if we don't, it's only because cooler heads are somehow able to prevail.
War with who, though? Sorry, war with who?
Well, I don't. It could be anybody. My money is on something with Ukraine, something with Iran, or something with Taiwan. But it could be somewhere else.
Something fucking bigger, like China. Just take on China. Let's just do it.
That would be the Taiwan war. But we, meaning the royal we, would lose.
Absolutely.
That war. And that's that imminent potential loss is the only thing keeping us from plunging into the war. When they thought they could win against Iraq, they went into Iraq. When they thought they could win against Somalia, they went into Somalia. When they thought they could win in Syria, they went into Syria and found they couldn't even win there.
That's all Democrats.
Well, Democrats have been behind every single major war, in modern history, American history. World War I, Democrat. World War II, Democrat. Vietnam, Democrat. Korean War, Democrat. So and the irony is that in the past they were always seen as the party of peace, whereas the Republicans, because they were sort of a little more blood and iron type, people, were seen as being, quote, warmongers, but war never broke out under their tutelage, or leadership. I think the Spanish-American War was the exception to that.
They'd win if they had Captain America.
Which version?
or Homelander from The Boys. Yeah,
he'd probably kill his own people too.
Hey, why not? At least they'd win. But
which version of Captain America are we talking about now? The soy boy gay version, the new female black version with one pant leg missing, the Falcon Winter Soldier version, the Hydra version.
Steve Rogers.
The old Steve Rogers, the one where he's like withered away and he shouldn't exist.
The one that he's wearing, the one that he's wearing a helmet and he's flying around on a motorcycle.
Yeah,
with a see-through shield.
Cruel Birab. So the peaceful party are the warmongers. Ironic. It is, mate.
It is ironic because it's well. If I can speak to that, Mr. Brown, it's really an irony because. And part of it is it's a tragic irony because, it's like when you project weakness, you invite conflict, You know what I mean? It's like if you walk into a biker bar, and as a pencil neck geek, and start taking everyone, macking on everyone's girlfriends, you're going to be in trouble there pretty soon, and you're not going your mouth and your actions are. What do we say in America? They're writing checks that your body can't cash.
Yes.
And so when somebody like Woodrow Wilson, President Wilson, goes out and says, we're going to make the world safe for democracy, and I don't like the way Germany acts, so boo, and then we get a world war, or in the same thing with Japan in World War II with Roosevelt, or in Vietnam, where it's like, well, we're going to be this and that, and then Vietnam.
Of course, they could be like England, and they could be like England, and just like try to go to Hitler and sign a treaty. Yeah, that works out well, doesn't it?
Chamberlain.
Yeah, well, that was, I think, I don't think America would ever do that, because they would go down in flames before they would do something like that. Just because, if for no other reason, that they want to juxtapose themselves to England. If England drinks tea, we drink coffee. If England, signs a treaty, we're going to bomb somebody. If this kind of thing.
Well, they are warmongers, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they're controlled by the military-industrial complex. I mean, our last great president, Eisenhower, in his, you guys may have heard of this. It was a very famous speech that he made, his farewell address when he was leaving office. He said, "Listen, there's some really powerful forces out there. They combine the military and industry, and they are taking over this country. And you had better be very careful, because I'm able to control them because I'm a very powerful general, but I don't think that you guys understand what's really coming." And in that whole speech, he sort of lays out exactly what did happen very shortly thereafter. I mean, with Kennedy and then Johnson, we went right into the Vietnam War, which was just a wet dream for the military-industrial complex, and they've been going, gangbusters ever since. And so if selling, cruise missiles, or selling crowd-controlled devices, or selling, heaven forbid, vaccines, is what keeps them in power and in the money, then they're going to keep doing that. They're going to keep doing that. Peace is, Gorilla Barabba hit it again. Peace is bad for business.
It sounds like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Well,
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Tony Stark.
Exact same thing.
Well, that's why the first Iron Man was such a great movie, because it really put the lie to the military-industrial complex, and it showed how corrupt and damaging they are, right? And there are other good movies that look at this, Lord of War, I think, with Nicolas Cage, and some other stuff. But it's like, and Charlie Wilson's War, the Afghanistan film, if you want to go the movie route. But like, yeah, and Britain is controlled by the same interests, maybe to greater or lesser extents, even from across the pond. And it's like, that's what this whole, I guess what you want to call neoliberal order is being run by, is the military.
To be fair, I mean, Britain's empire isn't like what it used to be either. Like, it's pretty much America's never really changed from their status, but Britain, yeah, exactly. Britain just doesn't have an empire anymore, and
Britain had the Britain has the what's the word I'm looking for? The grace to sort of quit with style. I mean, the message should have been sent loud and clear at the end of World War I. It wasn't. They mixed it up in World War II. They really lost everything they had, still tried to go at it. And during the Suez Crisis in 56, I think, and a couple of other colonial incidents, just the fiction of empire went away. And by the time George Soros, destroyed the British pound, it was pretty clear to everybody that, hey, we're going to have to take a back seat. America, on the other hand, is not going to go out that graciously. And that's the thing that scares me. They're going to try to go out shooting, like John Wayne or something, in this sort of very misguided attempt to maintain power. And I think I'm not attributing the full malice to the people that will actually do this, because it won't be unintentional. I mean, they will be graspingly trying to hold on to their power and do anything and everything to try to keep it. So, whether that means domestic repression, whether that means, international war, who can really say, because we don't know which way all these dominoes are going to fall.
See, the thing is with America is that if the rest of the world blew up, right, and America was still there, America would survive on its own.
Well, it would...
like China. Exactly like China. Like China... Because China's pretty much... We make money off China because they buy all our stuff. But pretty much, they can... They've already cut us all off anyway, all of Australia and everything, because we brought up something about China and they didn't like it, It was like, oh, well, actually, you guys, this is where all this shit's come from, And it's like, well, you can't say that, So they end up just not taking our stuff, and they did. But the thing is, though, you can't say that. You can't.
Very big news on Sky News Australia. They really do take China to task quite often.
Oh, we hate them. We hate China. We do. It's just the fact that, unfortunately, a lot of people are going, but they're not that bad. And it's like, oh no, they're only a dictatorship, And they tried to buy something from here recently in Australia and actually take control of it. And the Australian government said, no, you're not having it. Because they literally want everything to be controlled by them, know?
Right. Oh,
so,
yeah.
They've got brains, I'll tell you that.
Well, I can agree with everything that you say, except I think that if the whole world blew up, I don't think that the United States would stick around. I can't. You can't really compare China and the United States because China is.
I know the dictatorship sort of thing. I mean, fundamentally, they're able to live and prosper, continue on without outside influence, is what I mean.
The United States doesn't have the internal cohesion that China has. And because of that, this is a whole other topic for a whole other stream, but I'm not optimistic that the United States will even exist within 20 years as a single entity. Wow. It's, the same thing could happen to China, looking at Chinese history, but the Chinese are ruled by, as basically an ethno-state. Right, of 1 billion people. The United States is like the Habsburg dynasty. It's like the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's a whole bunch of small competing nations within a larger imperial type framework that sort of held together by a mythology. And that's really all that there is. And so the internal cohesion of the United States at this point is extremely weak, and all China has to do is keep kind of just poking at it as they do. And something else I want to add to that is I consider the United States leadership to be more or less purchased by China at this point. So the fact that Australia would have a leadership that's independent enough, regardless of all their faults, to say, no to this, that, or the other thing is encouraging in some way. Some of the European countries are starting to do that too, but the United States under the current regime is pretty much has a made in China label attached firmly to its toe.
Yeah, that's sad, isn't it? That's really sad. That
it's sad as an American. It's sad, as somebody who just as a citizen of the world, as they say, it's scary because a world run by China is not a world that you would want to see necessarily. I say this as a scholar of Chinese history. They are, like Ruel Brab says, the regular people can be very nice, but the system of governance and the sort of cultural ethos.
It's the power of censorship is like, you just have to look at, all these things about, that lady from the Oscars and everything like that, they try to wipe history. Like,
well, it's just... here's the easiest way to think about it.
I couldn't live like that.
the objective in the West, going all the way back to the Roman Empire and before, the objective of governance is power, right? Power with a capital P. In China, the objective of governance is control. And they're two completely separate things. If you look at it, if you think about it, China doesn't need to have power. Like they can operate in a smooth and methodical way, in a non-brute force way, for the most part, just like Raul says there. But but power is all about subjugation, physically, and that is less effective, and we've seen that. But we tried that in World War I and World War II, which are basically brothers' wars in the West, where we all put guns to our heads and pulled the trigger, and China just sort of sat back and said, that looks dumb. We need to put our tentacles out and control to prevent all these people from eroding our power and also destroying, the entire world through some sort of stupid, nuclear war or something.
See, we had this thing in Australia where, like, in the turn of the 20th century, when we had World War One, we were controlled by England. We were. It was everything was English. We were part of the empire. So what they were doing was England was pretty much using us as fodder for World War. They were pretty much putting us on the front line and allowing Australia to, and New Zealand and other countries and that to take the brunt of most of the thing. And then when World War II came around, that's pretty much where Anzacs were born, where we are allied with New Zealand to say, well, this isn't right. We should be treated as equals, if not, on the same ground, sort of thing, and pretty much, that when Churchill came along and said, we're going to, send you off to the front line, we just said, nah, we're not doing it. And that's where we started to grow on our own, as a country,
That's a real interesting bit of history you bring up. I think maybe you mentioned Gallipoli, but that was
Gallipoli was pretty much the defining moment for us, because if you look at the history of Gallipoli, that's pretty much we were sent in to die, and they not only that, but they sent us to the wrong beach, the wrong side. We were actually pretty much, they just sent us to get slaughtered, and that was pretty much the defining moment for us as a nation to say, you know what, fuck you, this, you're going to take the credit for this and everything. And I mean, it was a disaster. Gallipoli was an absolute disaster for us. We lost so many thousands of young men. It was just unbelievable, and every year that's what we celebrate. We celebrate Gallipoli. We celebrate Anzacs, these people that died to try and defend us, and it grew from that. And, just that spirit of, New Zealanders and Australians working together to try and prevent evil from all sides. So yeah, I mean, I'm very proud of the fact that, we have Anzacs in the family,
Yeah, and it's something that whole spirit is something that gives me courage in general for Western civilization or the Anglosphere, because, as things get, dicey in the United States, as things get weird, in the UK, then, like you mentioned, Australia sort of stands up to China and says, hey, you can't do this, because China could snap its fingers and Australia becomes a colony, if the cards aren't played right. And so
pretty much in World War One, if we turned around and we said, look, we don't want to do this. You are killing our men. You are killing us for your own, just to fill the gap, sort of thing, of this war. We would be shot. We would be. That's how the British worked. The British actually had us, court-martialed and shot, because they just didn't want any dissidents, you know. So it happens with modern society too. You would think that they would be a little bit more, well, let's just say more.
Sorry? Oh, sorry.
Go on, Commander.
Oh, I was just going to say, something similar happened in World War II as well. And this is, I've always sort of wondered, because the experience of the Anzacs at Gallipoli and other places in World War I was so horrendous. When World War II happened, the British did the same thing where they said, hey, we've got these guys. Let's send them off to, fight Rommel in North Africa. And they moved a whole bunch of Australians out to Africa, and the Australian government and the people were like, hold on just a minute. I know it's 1940, 1941, but the Japanese are looking real spooky up there. How about you do something? And the British said, yes. Well, and no offense to the British audience there, this is the politicians, but they said, we'll make sure our fleet covers you. Don't worry. We've got, the HMS Prince of Wales, and we've got a couple of battle cruisers. We've got Singapore. The Japanese won't pull anything because, this and that. And when the Japanese did attack, when they did take Singapore, when they sank the British, Pacific fleet, basically in a single day, the Brits just pulled right out, and said, sorry, screw you.
They didn't care about us.
And and Japan, it came straight down. They were going to take Port Moresby up there in Papua New Guinea, and then invade the east coast of Australia, and the United States stepped in at the Battle of the Coral Sea and actually defeated basically the invasion force that was heading that direction. That's an oversimplification, but it's like, and that sort of cemented us, like Australia, the United States together. We're in this together. We've got your back no matter what happens with Britain. And so that solidarity sort of shifted. But now, I think, Australia can't count on the United States anymore to be a reliable partner. And so, stand firm, and Britain too, stand firm. You can't rely on America as a reliable partner anymore.
America's gone to the point now where it's very superficial as well. Like,
how do you mean?
You don't, well, they're more for show than they are
it's
for
show business, mate.
Not only that, but I mean, to actually
Potemkin Village.
You actually see them acting into for America's best interests. I don't really see that anymore. I just see them saying, "Oh, here's Biden. This is what he's going to do," and then nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's because it's all for show. The emperor has no clothes. The United States is functionally bankrupt. It's heading towards what's probably going to end up being, I'm not going to make the call because I'm not a financial expert, but something that approaches a hyperinflationary spiral, and then just everything falls apart, and anybody that's connected to that is going to suffer as well. If you've staked your livelihood on, the United States going forward, then you may be in trouble in the future.
Is that why,
so that's why.
Do you think, in many years' time, Trump will be looked on kindly?
Oh, for sure. By surviving segments of, historical America, sure.
Because it feels like that now, and we're only 4 months in.
Oh yeah, the nostalgia factor for Trump is at a fever pitch.
It's like night and day now, isn't it? It's like it's it's so weird. You can see people scrambling to write something because they can't complain about Trump anymore.
Right. Well, essentially, well, that's a whole other discussion. But I mean, the people, Trump built things. The people who opposed Trump made their career out of tearing things down, whether that's him as a person or America as a country or the economy or whatever it is. They're not creative. They're destroyers, and that's what they do. And so, if there's not somebody to attack, they all just sort of fall in on themselves. Mrs. Commander Culture was telling me today about a cultural icon, in America who's normally on the left and is being attacked now for not being sufficiently woke. And I told her, I said, revolutions always eat their own. This will end like the Jacobins ended in France. For all that's worth.
Geordie LaForge, he's been kind of condoning cancel culture this week, hasn't he?
No, he doesn't call it cancel culture anymore.
He calls it what? Responsibility culture.
Yeah, something like that. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, and that's a shock too, because he's one of the more staid, individuals, just a part of the American pop culture firmament even before Star Trek came along. I was
Roots.
Really shocked to hear that. Roots, and then there's this program called Reading Rainbow, where it's kind of like a public access education type thing, and he, I feel like, had a lot of responsibility. Somebody like Patrick Stewart, Jonathan Frakes, they don't have a lot of responsibility, but somebody like LeVar Burton has responsibility to the to the culture that spawned them.
He calls it consequence culture now.
Consequence culture, that's what it is. Yeah, and it's a joke, and it'll eat him too. Yeah, exactly. Every revolution carries the seeds of its own destruction. No one could say it better than Frank Herbert.
I just love all these people that say, we've got no flies on us, and it's like, well, maybe you do. You just haven't looked at all the shit under your shoe.
Did anybody, just kind of quickly go back to the China stuff, did anybody watch the film Red Dawn with Patrick Swayze back in the day?
Oh yeah.
They remade it.
It'll be the back then it was the Russians invading, wasn't it?
It was the Russians and the Cubans. The remake though, because the remake, and so here we go again with China, because the remake was supposed to be China invading the United States, which is somewhat, believable. But then they had to change it because China came out and said, "Oh, you not make China look bad," and says, it's going to be North Korea. Oh yeah, sure. North Korea, which can't even invade South Korea, is going to invade the United States. I mean, and it's just like, done. I'm done. The original though was an absolute classic. Wolverines, and that was one of my favorite movies growing up.
well, the sequel had Chris Hemsworth in it, so he was there to save the day.
Oh God.
Hello, Swap Shop. Are you still there, Swap Shop?
I'm nodding along to you guys. Yeah. I was just going to talk about the Korean insert for the remake, and I was just shaking my head when you were talking about it because I knew exactly where you were going. But yeah.
Yeah. I when I heard that, it's like, you might as well not even make the movie, or just make it historical. Say, this is 1986 again, and it's the Soviets, or some kind of something. I mean, but it was like, we've already got the Asian actors, so we're just going to change their name from Ching to Chow or something. I mean, it's like, come on.
Nice.
What a joke. Or Cho, I should say. That's a Korean name. But, they're
very good hackers, North Korea. Very good hackers.
Well, they'd have to be to, invade the United States. I mean, they'd change all the traffic lights to red or something, but
weren't they involved in the Sony hacks?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that was to get at Japan more than anything else.
Sorry, Commander. In the chat, World of Trev, fucking Skoda voice to text.
He's driving a
Moving
Skoda.
Yeah, VW, mate.
Oh, VW. Skoda's a Czech car, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's VW now.
All right. See, I miss these little things.
You just killed a stream, Mr. Brown. You just killed the stream.
Yeah, Trev, you just killed it, and then I just compounded it.
They've made a few video games actually, that were very similar to Red Dawn. I think there was one called Homefront, and that was very literally they were Chinese, and they then invaded America.
Wasn't Call of Duty?
Yeah, the new Call of Duty.
Yeah,
it was
Modern
Stopped playing
Warfare,
those.
wasn't that? That was a great game.
I stopped playing those.
Yeah, I only played the first one. I don't do console games really myself.
Yeah, I used to in the previous
I used
life.
to, but they still have, but they don't really do that anymore. They don't they don't make those sort of games anymore.
Well,
Barab, Modern Warfare 2, yes. Amazing game.
I've got that one.
I mean, they're all into mobile
Fantastic,
games now.
fantastic.
One, but I never played it. I've got it sitting in cellophane still. Played the first one and thought, competently well constructed game, but
Great
these were a
game.
little bit too real world for me.
Really
See,
great
now
game.
they're just mostly playing, making mobile games because the Chinese market. So it's an endless cycle, It's just like.
Well, they're making Hollywood movies for the Chinese market, and they're making video games for
With
the
Chinese stars,
So-
look at Marvel movies.
So what I'm saying is,
Shang-Chi.
it's China. It's the biggest market. Simple as. It's just business.
For sure, it is. Luckily though, China's a financial and political mess as well. Because otherwise they'll take over the world. But after seeing the predictions of Japan taking over the world in the '80s not coming true, I'm not optimistic at all about China doing the same thing. But if that's what anybody's worried about, they're just too. They can't get out from under their own colossal size, I guess, if that makes sense. They're too big to succeed. I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah, and so if Japan can't make it work, they can't make it work, and and then everybody for themselves, Australia and New Zealand and what's left of America and what's left of the United Kingdom and all of those things.
Where do you think America will be in 20 years?
Balkanized.
Care to elaborate?
Well, I mean, without, I don't have a crystal ball or anything, but the forces of, the centrifugal forces that keep America together and the entropical forces that pull it apart are, the centrifugal forces are getting weaker every single day. The common culture, the common goals, even the common language, and the entropical forces that are breaking it apart grow stronger every day. And whether we're talking about a regional balkanization, whether we're talking about a sort of a cultural balkanization, I just see the country sort of breaking apart into constituent units that are better able to exercise control over their local areas. That to me is the
so it's kind of like over here devolution.
Yes, except that de-evolution in the sense of the United Kingdom would make a kind of cultural sense. I'm not going to jump into your guys' politics, but most of the Scots live in Scotland. Most of the Welsh live in Wales. Most of the Irish live in Northern Ireland. Most of the English live in England. And so if Wales and Scotland and whatever Ireland break off, everyone's still where they were, and there's a commonality there. So in the United States, though, it's very different. Although there are regional differences, between, Massachusetts and Texas and Washington State and all these kind of places, it's much more homogenous while at the same time being more fractious, if that makes sense.
Krell Birab, so the one world system is still a wee bit away. I think
a very long way away.
Yeah, I think unless if there's some kind of world catastrophe where we've all got to come together.
Even then,
Well, you guys have heard the Einstein quote, right? He had invented nuclear weapons and, or helped construct them and devise them. And somebody said, well, we're fighting World War II with nuclear weapons. What do you think we're going to be fighting World War III with? And he said, well, I don't know what we're going to be fighting World War III with, but I know World War IV is going to be fought with sticks and rocks, and that's how I see it as well. We can only get up. So, I mean, this is the pessimist in me talking. The optimist says to the stars, right? That's our hope. We don't need to have one world system to do that. But ad Astra, right up to the top, Excelsior. And that's our hope, as a human race. But, I think that before that, our petty nature will sort of claw the rest of the aspiring lobsters back into the boiling pot.
I'm stockpiling bananas.
Okay.
For when the Planet of the Apes comes.
Well, in America,
Monkey,
I'm
want a
stockpiling
banana?
bananas as well. But my bananas are in quotation marks, so that's they're useful no matter what evolved ascended creature takes over after humans.
I will. I'll just say to Swap Shop, you better get that maths exam passed, mate, and pretty soon.
There's a math exam.
Don't remind me. Yeah.
Well, we are. You need to get your finger out, mate.
Oh. Yes, I've got seven trial papers in front of me that I've got through 4 of so far. I'm still plowing through it, and it's just depressing when you're sitting there, like, oh god.
Shall we just finish off some lighter stuff for the last 9 minutes? Is that okay?
Lighter stuff is good.
Because I think that was quite deep.
Have I depressed the stream? I don't want to depress people.
Well, no, I think you were just educating us with stuff that as I've said many times, your level of knowledge just makes us look like cavemen.
I just try to read a bit more, and just like MC there, I can also be distracted by boobs.
I think we all can, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, that's an up.
Jacobs.
I think we're coming. If there was ever a stream where it's coming full circle, it's this one. We started off on boobs. We'll finish off on boobs.
Oh, so what's this lightheartedness that you've got for the next 8 minutes?
Let out of the hat there, Mr. Brown.
Boobs? I'm expecting boobs now.
Go on, then.
You better not disappoint me.
You're the biggest tit on the stream, so... I had to really think on my feet then, because I could feel the stream dying.
All eyes turning to the podium.
So you're going to talk about something else. So let's hear about what you've got to talk about.
Okay, right. What we're going to talk about then is obviously this is volume 98. I can't believe we've done 98 volumes of talking shite.
That's a lot of shite.
It is. It's
probably
well over 200 hours of talking complete shite. Which, at the beginning of all this, I didn't think it was obtainable, manageable, kind of achievable. But I think we've kind of done quite well talking this amount of shite.
Never understand the straight white male capacity for shite talking.
I think we've kind of got it down to a fine art talking complete bollocks. But I'm just going to say we've got. I think we're going to do volume 99 Friday lunchtime, if that's okay with everybody.
Which is going to be the one with the other special guest.
And then we've got the volume 100, which the special guest I was talking about, Swap Shop, he can't do weekends because apparently he's down the pub.
Yeah, that would be slightly spreading himself a bit thin, wouldn't it?
So what we're going to do, we've got that very, very special guest to ironically come back for volume 101, kind of like room 101.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be
yeah.
so he'll be coming on volume 101 talking about his new trilogy he's writing, and he's trying to get into a certain sci-fi series, isn't he? Which, as we said earlier in the stream, we don't think it's going to come back. So he's going to come on and talk about trying to get on that TV series. So
tell you what would be good as well, if you posed a few Room 101 questions to him as well, that might be interesting.
Well, I think maybe you could come up with a few then. I didn't even think of that, so that's a good call, that, my friend. So I think we're going to do the 101 probably early on next week evening time. So as I said, we've got a very, very special guest for that one. Saturday for the volume 100. I'm assuming Matt Pott is going to be on that one. Are you, Matt?
Which one's this?
Oh my God!
Sorry, I was thinking about boobs.
Being one
You're
of
forgiven.
Sorry.
Well, you're being a fucking booby now. Are
well,
you?
as soon as you mention breasts, I go wandering. My mind wanders. So sorry.
Are you going to be partaking on volume 100 on Saturday?
Yeah, of course.
What about you, Commander? Because you were the first person, volume 1.
Ooh. Well, I suppose I should make some time, shouldn't I? Send me the invite, and yeah, I will.
It'll be the usual. It'll be very early your time, 7 a.m. I think. Is that correct?
Okay.
It's going to be 11 p.m. here, so I think that will be you're 8 in front of us, aren't you?
Something. Yeah, it's early morning. But you're yeah. Okay, so that's a late night one. Yeah. I'll be happy to. I'd be happy to.
And,
I promise to not get too political.
Yeah, we've got to keep it light. Swap Shop, are you going to be on for that?
I shall be on, mate. Yes. Anyone else like Mega Geek or anyone like that? I think he might appreciate it.
Yeah, Mega Geek will be on. Commander, perhaps volume 100 would be the time to say hello to Mrs. Commander.
Hopefully, we'll see if we can get her her mic up and running.
Well,
does that mean I have to behave myself?
Yes. Just see if you can. Just see.
Hey,
if
she's
you
used
can,
to me, so you guys are tame by comparison.
Just see if you can butter the missus up for us. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll make it a priority.
I'm going to see if I can. As I said, the special guest we had, he's not available, so I'm going to see if I can get somebody else. But
I'll have a chat to you about that later.
If not, I'm sure that it'll be just the usual gang doing their kind of end of week, chewing the fat and just kind of, just.
Well, we always have fun on here.
Yes. Nothing much has happened this week so far, so it may surprise us. We've still got Thursday and Friday, and obviously Saturday, so still plenty of time for stuff to go tits up or stuff like that. So we're going to call it a draw at 1 hour 30, if that's okay, guys.
Sure thing.
Matt Pott, thank you for coming on, my friend.
Thank you. No worries. Anytime. You know that.
Are we going to see you Friday?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Swap Shop, thank you, my friend.
Yeah, you are very welcome as ever, and always enjoyable sitting here chatting crap.
It's I was just about to say it's always nice just to be a spectator on these when Commander and Matt Pott get going, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, that's right. Well, it's just they know way more than me on most of these subjects, so I just sit here and absorb it and get educated, basically.
They do. Commander Culture it is really, really appreciated you popping on, my friend. I know it was last minute, but
my
always
pleasure,
great to have you on, sir.
I'm glad to be part of the crew. And I look forward to having some new content coming up before too long on my channel. So then we can start plugging that again.
I think you've got plenty to be getting on with, don't you?
That's more than enough. Yeah, I've got an entire folio of stuff to write and talk about. So
yeah, a lot's happened in the 3 months that Trump has left.
Yes, and more will be happening. So
yes, I will
we'll
just
be here
say.
to cover it.
I will just say to the usual guys in the chat, appreciate you coming on, guys. I would say like, share, subscribe, and press buttons and stuff, but you already do that anyway. So thanks for popping in. As I always say, it is never... It's the streams are far better for your interactions, so we do appreciate that. I think that's it, guys. Shall we bow out gracefully and say we'll see you Friday at noon? Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
You take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.